Hello, welcome to Star Wars Spelt Out. I'm your host, Josh Chapman, and today, oh man, my favorite thing, first-time guests. But how has this happened? How has this man not been on before? It doesn't make any sense. From Star Wars First Family, Rogue Rebels, Sal Perales. How's it going, buddy?
What's up, dude?
What's up? I'm good. You wouldn't think we've done this 3 times before already.
Yeah, man. Like, look, dude, I've been dressing up as like Star Wars characters for like a decade, man. Like, where's
the call? Where you been?
You know, I mean, it's the time thing, huh?
Yeah, the time zone was too much. It was insurmountable. Absolutely insurmountable. No, it's actually
just trying to figure out scheduling.
It's a pretty good time here as far as the USA, because it's sort of late afternoon here, and it's it's not crazy. The UK is the worst because it's like 3 a.m. there, kind of thing. This is pretty good,
right?
At this junction, but we're on.
So this is like nighttime. Yeah, but I have like, I don't like kids don't have like school anymore because they're grown.
Yep.
Because we've been doing this for 10 years.
10 years ago, this would have been a real problem.
Just like, hey, I'm going to go record in your room. And he's like, okay, I'm going to play Red Dead Redemption or whatever.
Whatever, Dad.
Yeah, whatever, Dad.
He's like, whatever, Dad. Because he's huge now,
anyway,
isn't he?
You're going to go do your podcast on your phone? Whatever.
You used to love this stuff, son. Now you're mocking
son,
me.
You still, I know it's me and Lizzie mostly, but you come on the podcast sometimes.
Okay. Don't tell any girls.
Mm-hmm. Whatever. When are we going to make another Ezra? Because I outgrew the other one like 5 times.
Well, at least Ezra's a man now as well. Ezra's got facial hair. At least you've got that.
Yeah.
Like, well, I can do it again.
So I'm
now.
like, hey, dude,
okay.
You can just do your full out like grown Ezra. And he's like, all right, cool. Yeah, I want to do grown Ezra. It's complicated.
Well, I've got that. I got 9 and 6 here, so we're not quite there yet. We're getting But my 6-year-old particularly, she's in. She's very, very... Yeah. She's very into
What's
it at the
her
moment.
entry point?
Good question. What was her entry point?
Like, what is... If she's in, what is she into? Like, what's her thing right now?
She likes the movies. She hasn't really done the animation yet. We've done all the movies. First one that she saw was Phantom Menace, so she actually went through the 1 to 9 sequentially.
Yeah.
Whereas my oldest daughter, she was a bit all over the shop. She did 4 to 6 and then did 1 to 3 and then did the sequels afterwards. So she was a little bit more. But Sloane's gone all the way from 1 to 9. But she definitely gravitates to Leia and Rey. Mm-hmm. She likes younger Leia. She's kind of like, oh, Leia's a bit older in these other ones. I kind of prefer her when she's a bit more mobile, which is fair enough. But it was funny, the other day, the only one we hadn't seen, or actually we haven't done Rogue One either because it's kind of a bit intense, but we did Solo, the Star Wars story the other day. Mm-hmm. And my partner Kat took our eldest daughter off to the football because football season started here, and Sly and I were home. I'm like, oh, well, let's watch Solo. We'll watch a movie about the young Han Solo. That'll be cool. We watched it. She enjoyed it. And then later that night, Olive came home and she's like, oh, what'd you do today? And Sloane's like, oh, we watched a movie about young Han Solo. And Olive goes, was Darth Maul in it? Now, she knows nothing about Solo, a Star Wars story. She's got to be the first person on Earth to have guessed that was going to happen in that movie. That's what she said. She's like, oh, well, Darth Maul must clearly be in it.
But she wasn't and she didn't have no animation or nothing?
No, nothing. She hasn't seen the shows.
She wasn't like, well, he was running Crimson Dawn by that time.
No, she's like, look, I've got all the books, man. It'll totally clear.
Yeah, okay.
Her only rationale was, because I was half listening to the conversation, I've gone, well, how did you get to that conclusion? She goes, well, he hasn't been in any of the other ones. Just seemed like he'd be due to be in another one. And I went, you've just got Lucasfilm Disney logic going right there, where they've just looked at the dartboard and gone, haven't had any Darth Maul for a while.
Interesting.
We better put him in. So
yeah, because I'm like, if she only saw 1 through 9, my first thing was like, well, he did get cut in half. That would put a damper on all your further guest appearances, no?
Yeah. She was just like, no,
I would think.
She's just like, they've got this IP, they've got this asset they haven't used. Like, it just makes sense. He sells T-shirts. Like, you've got to bring him back.
Obviously, he's only been in 1 movie. He's underutilized here.
What's going on? Am I the only one who's not crazy here? So,
yeah. I mean, come on, Kathy, put him in.
Do I need to start my YouTube channel to get through here?
Got it. Okay.
So they're pretty excited. So they're coming. We're doing the family trip to Japan. We're all going in a few weeks, and
awesome.
They're coming on the Sunday. So I'm doing the 2 days without them, and then they'll come Sunday, the kids.
Gotcha.
So we've got some, I've made some stickers and some badges that they can give out, and they can swap for stuff, and I saw that the droid builders will be there, and all these other I saw that the lightsaber people. Are you an official? Are you there on official business, or are you there as a
no?
As a just
we're just going, unless you count that like we're going to be supporting Lizzie's panel.
Yes,
Lizzie, the kids have the Star Wars Geek Girl panel on Saturday.
Yep.
And we're only going Saturday.
Oh, you're only going on Saturday. You're going all
the
way, and you're only
doing
the 1 day.
Yeah, but it was like I wanted to also go to Mount Fuji and like other things. I'm like, dude, I love Star Wars coolness and Star Wars people and all this, but like, come on, man, there's like stuff I want to see also. I don't know. Like we're doing like a big thing. Like the kids are going to go to like Disneyland Tokyo or something at one point.
Yep. So you'll actually get
which I'm kind of like, I'm the dad that's going like, we have Disneyland at home.
Yep.
But okay.
Yeah. Well, there's Disney Sea as well, I think, which is a different one. We're doing a few things as well.
But I think they're doing both.
Well, I made that rationale to Kat because she's kind of going, because we want to do Disney Sea, and she's going, oh well, you can go to Disneyland in the evening. It's quite cheap, and you can go to, you can look at the fireworks and do this stuff. And our schedule's already packed. And I went, oh look, it's exactly the same as Anaheim. So she's like, yeah, we don't live in Anaheim. We don't have Disneyland. It's not like we've got it there. Like it's any different. We may never get to Anaheim.
Well, technically, you're closer to Japan.
Yeah, exactly. This is probably our easiest shot.
What are you talking about?
So,
all right.
I think the Thursday before Celebration at the moment, we're trying to do Disney in the evening. But there's an itinerary. We're there for 2 weeks, so we've got a whole.
Okay. Same.
We're doing Osaka first, and we're doing Universal, and then we're doing cafes and all that stuff, and then.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Celebration's the very last thing before we fly back.
Oh, okay. So you guys, because we're doing we're going there, and it's Tokyo and Celebration, and then afterwards we're gonna move on to
then you're going,
Osaka, Kyoto. Yeah. So we're there till the end of the month, pretty much.
Well, it's Australia school holidays. Those 2 weeks before, so it kind of worked quite well. Although it is I know that they've done it on purpose, but it's peak tourist season as well. So it's just everything is just going to be crazy.
I heard it starts right when we're about to leave. It's the next week after or something.
Yeah.
Whatever the date in some book that my wife got was well, did you know that on the 28th or something is when it's going to hit the fan? And I'm like, well, good. Our plane leaves on the 29th.
So long, suckers.
And I already booked a place, so we're fine.
Yeah. Well, I'm having that sort of, because we've had, I think 3 out of this will be the 4th celebration I've been to. At least 2 of the 3 before we got your Airbnb's been cancelled. A month out from.
Oh no!
I think London and Chicago both had the rug pulled under us. We had to scramble for new accommodation. But I kind of feel like, for whatever reason, Tokyo feels more. The Japanese feel less, dodgy, that they wouldn't do that.
Oh yeah.
But then
I'm because. I'm here, and I'm right away. I would be pissed if I was okay, I got a reservation. I made it 3 months in advance, and then 2 weeks into it, somebody's well, never mind.
Oh, we did it I think London and Chicago. We did months out, and it was a bit of a scramble at the end. And then Kat said yesterday or the day before, she goes, "Oh, I got an email from Airbnb because she booked it because they're Tokyo." And I've gone, "Oh no!" Here she goes, and they go, "Oh no, they're just saying that they won't be able to use the car park from a certain date." And I'm like, well, that's all right. We don't own a car anyway, but that's the worst the news is. That's fine. You don't want to be scrambling for accommodation. So just the Saturday. Yeah. All right. Well, I better make sure that, I see you properly in the family and we get to the panel. I've got the beanies for you guys as well. So you'll get your beanies on Saturday, but I'm just going to make sure that that's the day that happens, which is good. That does, So we've got the little crew going.
Mm-hmm.
which will be exciting. Everybody's a little bit sort of, how's this panel reservation system going to go? Have you done all your research on the panel?
I've seen that it's like you're lining up almost and like not quite.
They're like,
it's not the same reservation.
They want you to have the experience of the old lining up system. Or if the virtual queue for buying the tickets wasn't stressful enough, now there's another one for the light speed and another one for the panels, just to get that anxiety back up. So they did the light speed one last week, and it was reasonably okay. I got in. I got just a spot. I'm not too fussed on the store. I got a spot on Sunday afternoon with the kids. We'll just walk in and have a look. Really, by the end,
gotcha.
you know what it's like.
Later in
the days, you can kind of just walk into the store anyway.
Especially on the last day.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I've done. I'm going, can I get a T-shirt that's in my size, and I don't need a tiki glass or a whatever. Or
right.
Yeah. But
I'm like so much less on the merchandising stuff. So like I'll go in the store and I'll look around. Like the big thing, I think the last one I went to was the Anaheim one.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that was like kind of piquing my interest was like, well, they have the High Republic trilogy books in like leather bound in
nice.
Orabesh, like, and it's like $300 or something like that. But I'm like, they look really nice and they're all signed and numbered and blah, 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 blah. I didn't do it. But I did go in and I looked at them really hard.
You're just sort of staring at it. The maths is ticking over in your head. And that was
I don't need
that was a home one. You didn't even have to probably get accommodation or a flight or anything. You were like,
dude, we live 5 minutes from Disneyland.
Yeah.
Like I can see fireworks from my house. So it's if when they have them in Anaheim, I love it.
Do you reckon it's back there next? Like it's definitely the USA after this one way or the other.
I mean, maybe, hopefully. If it was up to me, I would say, I put in my vote for Anaheim.
Yeah.
Who's whoever's vote, I'm fighting whoever's trying to stay home in Orlando, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like it's between the two, but I mean, who knows? We like I said, we kind of go everywhere. We deal, and Japan is. I mean, at the time when they announced Japan, we were very happy because it's sort of the closest you'll get to Australia, probably. But once you've planned everything, it's like. It's still like a proper way. It's still a good 10-hour flight, and you've got to book it's not like you're just popping down.
Okay.
It's not 5 minutes away. It's still a mission, but it's in the same time zone, so that's something.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, I figured it was a lot closer for you guys, but 10-hour flight is kind of
about the same distance from LA, I think, because you kind of go across and we come up.
Right.
But we're in the time zone, so at least with little kids, at least it means, hey, when you get off the plane and it's the same time of day. We don't have to spend a day and a half of, working out that up is down and black is white. And, with like the London one, you're kind of going, what is it? It's 4 a.m. in Australia. And it's, so it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm curious to see how they do it this way. Like what's a Japanese one look like? Like,
right. Yeah, I'm just like, I'm going to Celebration Japan, but I'm also just going to Japan.
Yeah.
Always like I've never left the continent, dude.
Oh, really?
I've only been to Mexico, like which I drive most of the time. You know what I mean? Like it's not. I've never been to Europe. I've never been to anywhere else, pretty much. So like,
man, you'll love it. It'll be a real like just that because the cool thing about Japan is, and I went about 10 years ago, is you don't need to go to a tourist place or somewhere to go, I'm in another, if you go to Europe or places, it's, it's similar shit that you've got here and it feels, a lot of it feels familiar. You get into Japan straight away, you're like, I'm in Japan, like straight away. I'm in it, so you'll feel it straight away. Like you can go to tourist places or places that are a bit more wacky and out there, but just the general getting around and even going to the toilet, like you're just like, hey man, this is
right.
different.
Oh, they're living in 3025 over here.
Yeah. Well, it's weird though, because it's like what I noticed when we went in 2013 was that yes, it's really high tech in places, but other places, other things feel like it was high tech in the late 80s, early 90s, if you know what I mean. Like it feels like a high tech version of that. Almost like if you were watching a movie, like say you're watching like RoboCop, and it's a movie that's made in the 80s and then it's showing you what the future looks like. A lot of the sort of things feel like that in places where it's kind of high tech but almost old
Right.
high tech now, which has kind of got its own
Yeah.
charm as well. So
The ideal vision of perfection is an ED209.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
When
I
we
got
get
it.
to Celebration, they'll just be marking the doors. It's like, have you got your pass on? Because they're just like, that's how they keep that queuing so efficient. Are you taking all your gear? Like, are you doing the family dress up stuff?
I don't think I can, dude. I can't risk that. Like, it's even Orlando was a little bit rough and scary, and
Yep.
like I don't know the rules over there. People are like, well, you can't really like get dressed until you go to the thing, and we're staying in Tokyo
Yep, same with us.
because I
Yep.
figured, like, in interest of us actually doing things in Japan, it would be of interest to stay in Tokyo and not exactly by the con.
Yeah, especially if you're only there
So-
for a day.
Like, we're gonna be making the travel to the con.
Yep.
On that Saturday, but we're going to be in Tokyo. That way at night we can go to where, you know, like, because the kids want to go to, well, they're not even kids anymore, but they're going to go, oh, we're going to go to this cafe. We're going to go do this. And we're going to go to that. Me and the wife want to go check out whatever we want to check out. We wanted to be in the city.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not
so
far
yeah,
from
we're-
everything anyway, so it's just a train ride away. It's
Yeah.
not, you know, especially if you're not
Right,
going,
right.
we've got 3 days, we've got to dress, we've got to cosplay, we've got to take our stuff, we've got to drop it off, we've got to get changed, we've got to do, you can just roll up in a t-shirt and
I'm like, oh, okay, like it's like, this is all like, I'm like, I'm feeling Rebels a lot lately, but I'm like, I can't get that Kanan armor. Like that stuff is pretty everywhere. Like
Yep.
Voss is a little more leather armor and it can fit in more places, but I'm like, I don't want to bring a backpack full of stuff that I need to change into it. Like I'm like, let's just go and let's just have fun. We're going to do our thing.
Yep.
I might bring a lightsaber
Yeah.
and that'll be the limit, but we're doing, we've booked our places, we've booked our spots, and then also we're doing like a lot of different like experiences, which I'm kind of excited about.
Nice.
We're doing like, we're going to go to see Mount Fuji. We're going to go to like Omuro Mountain or whatever. Then when we're in Osaka, we're going to do like this thing that goes to a little fishing village. We're doing Nara so we can feed the deer. We're doing like, Liz found some sort of like, you know, like this very like traditional ancient thatched roof place called Shirakawa-go that I was trying forever to figure out how we could get to it, like if we could get to it and work it out in the schedule.
Yeah.
And we finally figured it out. So we're going to do like a little day trip from Nagoya,
Great.
like during our travels.
And you got bigger
So,
kids,
like,
so you can be bit more robust, you know, like we can
Yeah.
do some miles and stuff like as
Yeah.
well. So we're conscious of tiring the kids out too much, which we're already going to do. But
Yeah,
at
yeah,
the same
yeah.
time, at least you're like, are you not going to climb Mount Fuji? You're just going to check it out?
I think we're going to ride the little thing and probably
yeah.
get the view. I don't think we're like going to the actual Mount Fuji. I think we're going to like the place next to it where
Yeah.
you can look at it
Yeah.
very prettily.
Yeah,
The lake or whatever with swans.
One of my friends climbed it years ago when she used to live in Japan, and she said it nearly broke her. Like, it's not like mountain climbing like Tom Cruise. It's just like a long, continuous dredge up a mountain, like you climb in Mount Doom, like around and around. It just takes forever.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, it is. And it was sort of, and I think she's just sort of like, I really underestimated, like, as far as the shoes that I wore and the how much food I took and all this sort of thing. And, you know, I think I went green by the time I got to the top kind of thing. So.
I had a friend who was like, who ended up like being able to visit Japan in like high school, and he was like, and we're all into martial arts and like all this stuff, and he's like, and I'm gonna go, and I wanted to go to the top to like see the shrine, and he's like, and I started walking, and I'm like 2 hours in, I'm like getting tired, and like old people now are starting to lap me coming back down. The old people that were passing me an hour and a half ago are like now coming back down the mountain, and I'm like, what is going on? And I'm like, he's like, because they do it every day.
Yeah, and you don't have the will of the tiger as well, or whatever else you need to have. You've proven yourself unworthy up the thing. Awesome! What an awesome trip. That's it's going to be great. You're gonna. I just think you're going to love it, and you get to squeeze a little Star Wars in there as well. Lizzie's pumped for the panel as well.
Yeah, they're all excited. They haven't done one together since Celebration Orlando.
Yeah, right.
Like it's always been one and one, like. Because it's Lizzie and Zoe, and they'd had one at Celebration Orlando.
Yep.
And then I think in Chicago, only Zoe went.
Yep.
And then in Anaheim, only Lizzie went.
Yep.
And then, like, the outer country, I think Zoe went to London. But it was like, it's always like one and one.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, like, Zoe couldn't make it to this one because she was in school. And then Lizzie was in school and she couldn't make it to the other one. And so now they're finally both going to Japan. They got the panel, so they're back on. Because basically what happens is like Zoe will get the panel and Lizzie won't get to go, and then she's like, "Well, it's me and Steele." Because Steele will like jump in and help out. Like,
Hi.
hey, it's Star Wars Geek Girls with Steele.
With Steele, with the big white dude. What do you think, big white dude? Oh, that's awesome. Like, was there? I mean, I didn't. We sort of, we talked every time it comes around. We're kind of going, should we attempt to do something to it? This isn't a huge podcast, but, we have fun. We sort of thought maybe this would be one you could do. We could do a 10th anniversary, like, Force Awakens kind of thing or something. And maybe you could ask some bigger names. Like, I know, like Molly and Alex or someone else who's going, or probably would have asked you if you were going to be there. Just, to beef up the roster or something. And we're kind of going, bit tricky. You got the kids coming to try and do all that felt a bit much. And then, of course, like they've said that they're not doing a Force Awakens anniversary panel or anything. I was like, we might have got a bit of heat off that if we'd actually, if that had been a Force Awakens thing. But I was always conscious of going, well, I don't speak Japanese. Is there a whole bunch of Japanese speaking only panels there? Are they doing a quota? I don't really know.
Right.
Know the thing. So obviously the girls got in, so they must have just. Yeah, and I guess because there's less people coming over, so they're probably happy to go. We've got some, something for the internationals.
One of the other things that I just saw today is, we're part of Saber Guild and Rebel Legion and all that, doing all the costuming stuff. But around 2015, 2016 is when we started trying to integrate the fan groups together.
Yep.
Like, back in the day, it was like, oh, there's a 501st booth over here and a Rebel Legion booth over there, and the Mandos are over there.
Yep.
And then they started trying to get things to happen together. And now they're trying to really like work on the picture so that there's like a whole area of all the costuming groups, and they really like can work it together. But I just saw like, back in the Anaheim one, I was kind of on the planning of it a little bit too. So I was seeing like as it was coming through and I was like, oh, okay, cool. This is like good for us to like unify. Everything's in one place. You want to come see costumes. Like you can take pictures with everybody and it's all great. But this one, they said it's like the idea is it's this whole area of all the costuming people is like some, welcome to like, it's not Batu, but it's welcome to whatever, so this like little outpost.
So it's like an immersive experience.
So it's almost like a little village experience or whatever it is. Hey, this is an outer rim, such and such planet, and there's some Mandos here, and there's a little bit of Empire here. There's some droids, and there's some rebels, and there's some Jedi or whatever.
Oh, nice.
So I want to go see it. I just want to see what the experience is that they came up with, because that seems like a really great idea.
Yeah, and you bring it back next time, if it works. And I always sort of learn from the last one. I mean, London had some layout issues, just the way that they utilized the space. It was just a bit weird because they had it's quite big and long, but it had like they sort of had spaces on either side of it, almost like it's like a rectangle, and it was sort of like a path right down the middle, and then a whole bunch of things on one side and a whole bunch of things on the other side. So they had like the bit where everybody queues up at one bit, a bit where there's all the food, and then they sort of had the floor was basically divided into two spots across from each other, and there was like a path down the middle. But the problem was that people are walking up the middle and across. So you just got these bottlenecks where everybody's crossing at this one bit. So all the vendors were sort of on one side, and then all the bigger vendors, all the sort of, like your Hot Toys and your Hasbros and the costume stuff were on the other side. But the first day, people are just like banging into each other like this, basically. And then all the panels, all the rooms for the panels were sort of further down. So you actually, people trying to get through there to get to all the panel stuff was as well. So it took about a day for them to get some lanes and suss the crowd and stuff.
They had to put in a roundabout. Yeah,
it was almost like they did need a roundabout, but there was a bit where everyone's just sort of standing going, well, I'm trying to get over there, and these people are trying to get across here, and they did suss it out. But I kind of just feel like the Japanese efficiency, I feel like they'll have this sussed out. But I guess we'll find out. The 3 days is funny too. Like I don't know about you, but I've found, on the 4 day one, by the time you get to kind of day 3, you kind of start to fade.
Yeah. It's, I mean, I of course you want to spend more time and all that stuff, but like 3 days is a good, like they were doing 5 days at one point, and it was just 5. It was rough. Was it Chicago?
Yeah, dude. The preview day, and they were going, everybody, there's nothing on except to be on the floor.
That's enough.
So everybody's just on top of each other for a day.
Yeah, I'm good. I got it. I got my Funko. I got my itty bitty. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I remember we had
it like...
Sorry, I was just going to say, for that Chicago, because Chicago was the first one for all us Aussies. and we hadn't been to one before, and they did that preview day. So of course we were like, well, we would get there first and get there early, and I just remember it being kind of like quite overwhelming for some of the people in our party, sort of like Catherine as well, who's sort of just like, I've got to. This is, well, because everybody's there. Like, there was nowhere else for people to go. And I'm kind of going, oh, gosh, I hope she's okay. We got 4 more days of this. And then by the next day, she'd found a bearing. She's like, all right, I'm out of here. I'll see you later, and she's off. And it's just sort of, but I think, 3, we'll see. But I feel like 3, you'll keep the momentum going the whole way. I don't know whether that should be the norm going forward, but I guess I do like that they're just trying some stuff in their own way.
Yeah. And I also think, I wonder if it's like as much stuff as not even as much content, but like, say they're like, maybe do 4 days if you have a really big, like if you got a big movie and something's coming on Disney Plus, and then you got an animation thing, what I mean? Like if you got like 4 big day panels, okay, do 4 days. But like, if you can squeeze it into 3 days, make it 3 days, man.
Yeah. So I think I saw something online. You were sort of talking up the animation. Is the animation panel on the day you're there? Is that the Saturday?
No, the animation panel's on Friday.
Oh man, maybe you could.
That's the day I'm going to be at Fuji.
Have you just got you've got the 1 day pass, or have you got a 3 day?
No, I got a 3 day.
You got it just
because I wasn't sure which day I was going to go. I got 3 day passes, and I was like, oh, we're going to figure it all out.
Maybe you'll go.
But then we started being Fuji, like, well, let's book some of these experiences.
Yeah.
And then like B&B started filling up, and we were like, well, we better nail this down now.
Yep.
And then they finally released the schedule, and I'm like, well, once Lizzie. We figured out Lizzie was going to be doing the panel. Like, we're like, okay, well, that'll be the day then.
Yeah. We'll put it.
Because we were like trying to nail down which day or whatever we were going to do. And it turned out we wanted to do more experiences, Yeah. So that's basically the idea. We'll see what happens. I think at nighttime, we're going to also be running around either Tokyo or trying to figure out what's happening.
Yeah, we're not too sure. Evenings is a bit of a... We're not quite, because there's stuff around the convention center, and a few friends are staying at the hotel near there. But obviously, there's no Steel Wars thing that we'd all gravitate to on one night. Obviously.
Right.
And, so I think there'll be enough people we know, and we'll just see what's going on. Like if it's not wild at night, it doesn't really matter. It's sort of we'll do stuff, and it'll be fun. I'd like to do some karaoke if some people are around.
Right.
Like that'd be cool.
I think for us, like the kids are older. So they're going to kind of like, they're going to run around and do their own thing. And it's a little bit scary, but also like, hey, dude, like this is your time. Please don't get arrested in Japan.
Now?
Dude, Axel's 18. Yes, he's a baby.
They're free to go.
So Lizzie's 22 and they're going to be figuring out public transportation or whatever in Japanese.
Get down to Shibuya and, check out the nightlife and...
Yeah, that was the idea. And like, then they can go do their thing, and like me and Liz can go do something, you know what I mean? Or like, like, cause they're not like little.
Yeah.
Hey. And like, they're even doing like, they're going to go to like Osaka 1 day early cause they want to go to Universal.
Yep.
And we're going to go to Nagoya so we can go to Shirakawa Go, like, and then we're going to all meet up back in Kyoto or whatever. Like, so we have a few parts where we're we're all there, but then we're all kind of doing our own thing, and like it's kind of a good place to be. Like
it's a safe
I always kind of
place
say
as well, and it's it's not like you're sending them off into the great unknown, and they'll be safe as they'll be absolutely safe as houses. You've got to go out of your way to get yourself into some trouble.
Right.
And you I think you raised them kids right, so I don't think you got too much to worry about.
Yeah, well. We'll see.
We'll see. It's like, Dad, I'm in Tokyo jail.
Talk to me in a month, Josh. We'll see
like,
how this goes.
What happened to Sal? He wasn't a celebration. He's like, I had to bust his kid out of Tokyo jail for letting off fireworks.
I like to see the glass half full, but you never know.
Star Wars Geek Girl is going to be hosted by Sal because his daughter's in Disney jail.
Well, it's going to be me and Steele. Watch.
We have to pivot.
Hey, everybody, the Star Wars Geek Girl. Me and Steele Saunders over here. We know some Star Wars Geek Girls.
Yeah. Any questions?
They aren't available, but we can speak for them in this instance, I suppose.
They're busy learning their lesson right now.
Mm-hmm.
Dad's not gonna bust them out. Dad's gonna let them.
They're at the FO part of FAFO.
Yeah. And to be honest, the wife and I were having too much of a good time to rush to get them out. Really, we just what's another day we can enjoy some time together.
Axel's in the audience, and we're just like, honestly, we thought it was going to be him, but
here he is. Who knew?
Here he is.
You're gonna work harder, buddy.
Safe and sound. All right.
Oh man. Yeah, so I mean the panels. There's no Lucasfilm one, which is a little bit weird. But I think they've been burnt promising too much up front.
Yeah,
So I feel like they just.
Yeah.
And
even in the like whole the whole way that stuff gets announced these days, you're getting excited for stuff that's 5 years away.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't excite me anyway. You can give me 15 titles of something that I don't know anything about. Once you show me a trailer, I'm in. You know what I mean? Once it's tangible, like
it's also
I've been like this for a while. I've been like, why am I going to get excited about something I don't even know what it is?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
well, it's a long way to fly. You know, like they brought Daisy Ridley out at London, but Daisy Ridley lives in London, so she can go. I can pop down for an hour and wave and leave. I'm not flying all the way to Tokyo to wave and say I can't wait to be in Star Wars and leave again. You know, at the same time, you know, I'm shocked that Oscar Isaac is there. Great, you know, good name.
Vanessa's doing the panel with him.
Really?
Yeah. So it's gonna be a pilot panel, I guess. You know what I mean? That's actually on Saturday. We were thinking of popping by that one.
Nice. Yeah. Well, Oscar Isaac. I mean, come on, man. My running theory is that it's not James Mangold, is it? Who's the Deadpool guy who's doing
Sean,
who's doing the next film? Like they've actually said the next one after.
Yeah. Next on the docket.
I still maintain that is an Oscar Isaac vehicle. That's how they're gonna move the story forward without Ray front and center and focus on stuff with him. And I think that
focus on the galactic things instead of the Jedi things.
He's there for that reason. That if they do need to drop some sizzle, that they'll drop the sizzle while he's there, and he can do that. It's his 2-for-1s. And he can make some bank doing autographs and all that kind of stuff like that. It just seems like a long way to go to. I don't know. Like, although I was wrong about Ewan McGregor, I insisted that he would never do photographs because he was too famous. So who knows what I know? I don't know anything.
I mean, they walk out of there with suitcases of cash, I believe.
Yeah, suitcases of yen.
You know what I mean? Like, but I don't know. Like Oscar Isaac, it seems cool, but also like he was in Resistance. He was in a lot of Resistance.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Like, even if it wasn't a movie vehicle or something or whatever, a new announcement, like I'm still waiting to see what the next animation thing they announce is.
So you don't have any, you have a sort of theory at least?
No. If it was up to me, I would think either it's time to go back to the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, I think it definitely is.
Or let's explore something new. Let's do some High Republic something, or Dawn of the Jedi something, or let's either explore something we haven't explored before, or go back to the sequels so we're ready when that Sean Levy movie comes or whatever it is.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it's prime time. What did they just do? They sort of just dove back into something in the sequel sort of era. Oh, maybe, you know what? It's they announced there's a Poe Dameron comic coming soon.
Poe Dameron
Code Breaker.
Yeah. It's a name. It's a safe bet, popular character. It's in the right era. It's a way to move forward without necessarily having the weight of the Jedi Order behind it. And you can tease Daisy Ridley if you need to. You can bring in John Boyega if he wants to be involved. You can do. Feels like a good funnel. I mean, I've been wrong before.
Yeah,
this feels like a good sort of safe bet. And we'll see. But whatever. Like, give me more stuff, man.
Yeah.
Give me more stuff.
Yeah, I'm down for whatever. give me something that's like, give me Batu whatever.
Yeah.
Give me sequel era Batu stuff that happens after the time that I'm in Galaxy's Edge. Like, that's...
Do you frequent Galaxy's Edge quite a lot? Are you sort of like, I'll pop down?
Look, I mean, not as frequently as I would like to be, but like, I definitely go more than once a year.
Yep.
You know?
Because they're dropping more timelines into that now, aren't they? Are they going, we're just going to put classic characters in?
Yeah, I mean, they have character appearances.
Yep.
You know, things like that. But I don't know. Like, I don't know if the land is ever going to, you know, I wonder how they'll evolve. Like, they have little seasons, and actually late April, I believe they're going to start another like Seasons of the Force, and it's like there's new food and new merchandise and new whatever, and different people appear. I think that's where like Luke Skywalker might show up or whatever.
Yep.
You know, so there is like cool stuff like that. But as far as like the land, like,
it kind of is
I think they can,
isn't it?
Yeah. But I think they can also just keep doing things like that, little seasons, and that just makes it extra fun, because then I'm like, well, I better go this month
I better go see a guy dressed as Luke Skywalker walking around.
Right. Like, right. Like, but you have a bunch of pictures with Luke. Hush.
You met the real Luke Skywalker.
The background of this picture is going to be so much better.
Yeah. Well, I did see, like, we went, when we were there for Anaheim, we went to Disney the day before Celebration. It was the day before or 2 days before. Me and my friend Matt Mole, who's been on the podcast a lot, and Hayden Christensen was there. We just saw Hayden Christensen walking around, and he didn't see him, and I saw him, and I was like, oh, look, Hayden Christensen's over there. And he's like, we've got to go over. And I said, we are absolutely not going over there to talk to him. Like, we're not making a big deal about Hayden Christensen being there. And it looked
Where's your sense of adventure, Matt Mole? Were you afraid to get arrested in another country? Come on, man.
It was me who was saying don't do it. Because it looked like he had like a Make-A-Wish thing going on as well. Like it looked like that he was doing.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, and that was I'm kind of going, nah, we walked past and he saw me and I saw him. He knew that I knew who he was, but I was just sort of,
right.
I was just,
they know that look.
That's all I needed. But I didn't go like,
yeah,
that's Anakin Skywalker in the middle of Star Wars land. Right. Like, you don't need that heat.
Hey, you see the blaster bolts that in Oga's cantina that happened in Thrawn Alliances? You were there.
What do you think about that? Yeah. Answer me. Answer me, Anakin.
Look for the slash marks.
Don't look away.
You did that.
Don't look away. Look at me.
I mean, it's give or take 30 ABY, but yeah.
But as soon as that selfie hand goes up, 200 heads, you know what I mean? Turn and go, what's going? You know what I mean? What's going on? And all of a sudden, he's just, because he had the hat and the sunnies on, and he's he's been a good dude. He was being a good dude. So just let him be. But I still don't hear the end of that. But but it'd been a guy just dressed in a Luke Skywalker outfit, different story, because he's there for that.
Fair enough. Yeah. I just like walking around. That's such a beautiful place, and especially like in the evening. I don't know when you guys went, but evening Batuu has like a completely different feel from day Batuu.
Yeah, we did the
day.
Like
once they start lighting the lights.
We went a couple of days before, primarily because we had a ticket to the Star Wars Nights thing that was a few days later, but we went, let's go earlier and go and do all of that because it'll be insane there on Star Wars Night and we might not get onto stuff. So we'll go there, we'll go straight to Batuu and we'll do that. I think we even might have done the what's the one? California Adventure or whatever it is across the...
Oh, yeah.
So we did that first, and then by
Adventure.
about lunchtime we went over to Disney, and then we hit Batuu. And we did that, and it was quite busy, and we got through, we sort of paid up to get on the rides and stuff, and it was awesome.
Okay.
And then when we went back to the Star Wars Nights thing, we... actually, what happened in between that was that it was the night before Celebration, and everybody was like meeting up and seeing people before the thing. And Araj sent me a message and he's like, dude, where are you? And I said, I'm at wherever the hotel was near downtown Disney or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, I've got an extra pass for the cantina. How quickly can you get to the cantina? And I've gone, I don't know, I can try, I'll go. He goes, we can't get in unless you're here. So I basically just left and I ran back to Disneyland and got in and ran across the park, and it was like the parade was going on. So that was Batuu at night. So I ran past whatever is it, Frontierland and all this stuff. Just running into the thing. So I ran into there, and it was the evening then, and got there as quickly as I could, and it was awesome. But that was my That was my
Frontierland. That's my path. I go in, dude. I make a left over a Frontier. I shoot through and get right there by that middle.
Yeah,
and that was
entrance. Just because that was just the way we went. So I didn't know any other way, and I'm just sort of I'm like going, it still seems pretty big. People keep saying Disneyland's not as big as the other one. I'm like, feels pretty big when you're just running across the thing.
Yeah. I've only been to the other one once. We got to go do the Halcyon stuff, the Galactic Starcruiser stuff.
You did the Starcruiser.
Yeah, man.
So
it was.
Can you go?
Amazing.
I can see why it didn't prevail, or you kind of going, they're crazy. This is the best.
I don't know. The thing that I said was the same thing I say now. I don't know how to explain this to people so that they understand what it is. There's nothing I can say to you that whatever you felt when you went to Batuu, it's that times 1,000.
Yeah. So it's like immersive
you know what I mean?
theater that you can't leave sort of thing, isn't it?
I don't know. I didn't want to, I guess. I don't know. I didn't run into that problem, I guess I'm saying. Yeah. But I was there and there was all this stuff. And there's a weird, I remember us going, and I remember thinking like, oh, this would have been amazing, like when the kids were little and they can sort of experience that magic and that like disbelief, like that kind of thing.
Suspension of disbelief a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but Axel was like a teenager. Axel was like 15, 14,
Yep.
15 when we went there. And so he was in the place where he was like a little older, and he ended up going and making his own friends that he still talks to sometimes.
Yeah, right.
He ended up going like he was like running the freaking sabacc tables at one point. Like one of the Disney guys comes to me and he's like, "Hey, your son is over there like taking everybody's money at sabacc." He's like running all like the little kids came and beat everybody, and then they all went to bed, and now he's beating everybody.
He had the card up his sleeve like he's Lando.
Yeah, he was doing everything, and like he had his own like adventures. Like that was the first time that he sort of went out from us, but he couldn't. Like we were okay because like he wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You're on a cruise. I guess it's that sort of mentality where you're on a thing that you stay at, but you can't leave certain boundaries. But there's things to do on the. You're not just in a shed.
It's an experience, and it's designed in such a way that like you can be as involved or as little involved as you want, but like you will still have an experience.
Yeah,
whatever that is to you.
Yeah.
There were some things that like we got to do that was like really like I love the lightsaber parts. And then there was just like little interactions with the crew that like you can't explain or replicate or, you know what I mean? Like you're just there and it happens and you're talking to people.
You were there
and like
sort of towards the start, weren't you too? So you're probably there when enthusiasm was at its top level. You know what I mean?
We got to do the preview stuff. We got to do the invited stuff.
So what was that email like? So you just get an email and like you think going, hey, would you guys be interested?
That email is like, well, we have to. We need to figure out how to get it again, out of our lives for a week.
We're off to.
That's what that email is
Star
like.
Wars hotel.
Yeah.
What's the What was the transfer? Because they take you to Batuu. Like part of the thing is like you go. To so what is that like? You go in a bus, like a spaceship.
It's a shuttle. I'm pretty sure we were in the back of a truck. I don't know.
But like it was like
it had things. It was like it wasn't like we weren't off roading.
Yeah.
But like I'm like if I have to use my Earth brain, I think we were in the back of a truck. But like it was a thing. They had like little music. Oh, it'll be 5 minutes until we get to Batuu. And that's how I see Bakoya. Yeah, I guess you're gonna Batuu. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was really cool.
Yeah.
And even the shuttle to the little elevator that takes you from, you park in a parking lot and you walk up there with your luggage, and once you it doesn't look like anything. Like I remember being outside and being like, I mean, they're going to put some trees or something, right? Like this just looks like a concrete building. Like this doesn't look like, you know what I mean? Like, but once you go into the building, like they take your luggage, boom, boom, you go down a couple of hallways and then they're like, okay, we're about to take the shuttle to the halcyon, like to the and then when you get, I assume it's an elevator.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is, like that's when the boom, like you have there's a screen above that's the like window or whatever, right? So you're seeing your little shuttle go up to the ship, and like it's like super really cool, but then it's also like I don't know how to explain it to you, so it doesn't sound like, oh, they just put a TV in the ceiling.
No, but I've done like Rise of the Resistance. When you when you walk onto that, and it's like
okay, it's that times 1,000 for 3 days.
So you just wake up in the morning, like you go to bed and you turn your light off and you go to sleep. And then
you can stay up you can get up in the middle of the night and walk out to the bar, and there'll be the bartender there, and you could just play sabacc with him.
Yeah, right.
Like. It was, and it's like a little bit dead, and then like at that time you're like, it's you and 2 other people that are just like walking around an empty room, going like, "This is pretty awesome, right? Like this is not the coolest thing ever." It's like the bad is like, you want me to take a picture of you because I'm gonna ask you to take a picture of me. Like that's all it is.
Yeah.
Like the place is amazing. I guess it's gonna be offices. If they don't redecorate, that's gonna be a nice office to work in.
You feel like you should have done. I mean, I don't know what its proximity is to everything else and all the logistics of, if you could get people around there and things. It just feels like use something with that interior, even shift it and put it on the back of a truck and move it somewhere else so you can repurpose it. And it would just be a shame. I don't want to see some sad photo of someone's taking a picture from out the back of a dumpster at Disney and it's just like, something sticking out the top of it.
Yeah. It's them taking Willow off of Disney Plus and like they just said Star Wars Hunters is going to end in October, that are things that just like kind of break my heart. And they're not all in the same category, because this one is something like, this is beyond anything I think that has even ever been attempted.
Yep.
Like a video game I've played before, and Willow was an excellent series, and I do want to watch it, but I've seen movies before.
Yeah.
Like this was something else, and I don't know if we'll ever see anything else like that again.
Well, that's the problem being.
And I don't know how to explain that to people. I always thought that was the problem. Once we did it, and once we said it, we sat and we talked about it for an hour, and we were like, you can't, like, what is the advertising for this? How do you tell somebody, like, nobody will ever understand unless you did it.
Yep.
Like, you can't say like, oh, it's like a show and it's a dinner and it's a thing and you get food and you get to hang out in a Star Wars. Like, that doesn't make sense.
Like, is it like a theater restaurant or something like that? Is that what it is? Or
like,
is it
because that's what your mind goes to.
Yeah.
Because I can't like put it into words. I'm sorry.
No. It's like,
I'm still
in my
hurt.
head. I still think I know what it is, but at the same time, it's like, yeah.
Like, and like I Steel, like I was listening to like an episode of Steel Wars, and he was like, well, people said it wasn't this, and like I watched some YouTube video, and some girl was like, well, like it wasn't all that great, and like he was saying that one of the things they said was like, there's a big dinner, like the dinner of every night is a big part of the show, part of the experience, right? And apparently the person was saying like, well, they sat me here and I couldn't see, and it was like. And I wanted to call Steele right then and be like, no, you don't, like, that's not, like, it, like, the show is not the show.
Yeah.
But also, like, the show is everywhere. Like, we were sat here, and the show was over there, but also, while the show was happening, other things are happening. Like, so maybe you couldn't see what was happening over there, but over here, something was going on the side, and you were all of a sudden going like, oh, I think that guy works for the Empire. Or, like, so much other stuff is happening, like, no matter where you are, or no matter what you're doing, like there is an experience to be had. I wanted to be like,
you've got to believe
you were focused on this one stupid thing and you didn't realize that all of this stuff was happening around you.
Yeah.
You fool.
Yeah. You need that.
But that's just
you need that buy-in as well. You know what I mean? Like you were the you know, you're in.
Yeah.
You bought in and you ran with it.
Probably the target audience.
But you think that, but like, you know, Star Wars people, you think that wouldn't be as tough a sell, but it's, yeah, they could just do, I don't know, like, just without the immersion, just go, I just like to check it out, you know, walk around to it.
Right. It was like even if you could just stay there and without all the show.
You just don't want to see it. Like, did you ever have the show Big Brother in America? You know, where people live in a house.
I've heard of it. I never watched it.
It's basically like a house and there's full of cameras and people live in there. Yeah. So it was quite big in Australia for 10 years or whatever. And there was like a house in Queensland where they used to shoot it, basically. And then the show's been off the air for however long. And then for whatever reason, somebody found out that the house had been abandoned. And, you know, so they broke into because it's just this house off a theme park or something. So people started walking around and it was just like the saddest shit ever because it was all just falling apart and squatters had got in and broken the windows. I'm like, I don't want to see, you know, photos of people squatters who have got into the Star Wars Galactic
the final
Hotel.
flight of the Halcyon, and like they're just like, hey man, anybody want some death sticks?
Someone's gone to the toilet in a bucket in the corner or something somewhere, and it's just,
that's fair. It's just, rough.
It would be rough.
Yeah, Raj is going to know all about the reality shows. I'm less versed in those things.
That's probably a good thing. Which is probably why you've got that wonder, Sal. Where if you go to a Star Wars hotel, you've got a sense of wonder. You're not just like, I'm just cynic now because I've watched too much reality TV.
I get it, but I also feel like it will pull, like no matter who you are, I think it'll pull that out of you as much as it can.
Yeah. If I had the money and the means and lived close, you know, especially my youngest, if she got to do something like that, she would be loving it. You know, and I think there was a moment where Rey turns up and she has a lightsaber fight. She'd lose her mind if she got to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to say anything when we were talking on the podcast because I don't want to spoil stuff, but like it's gone now. There's a part of the experience where like Chewie is sneaking aboard the ship and like the Imperials are looking for him or whatever, rebels. And so like the rebel like part, like, because they sort of have you separate and like they like all the kids, they get all together and like they're like helping doing stuff. And then all the teenage, like, so like the teenagers they had told, like, okay, we need you guys to like just like, so Axel was in this group. They were like, we need you guys to distract the Imperials. So like there's 3 stormtroopers and the Imperial officer and whatever, and you have all like the teenagers on the boat or on the hotel, and they're like, hey, oh hey, like, and like they're talking like they're happening, and then meanwhile Chewie is walking across the room, and every 5-year-old is in front of Chewie going like,
I'm just trying to block him.
yeah, trying to like block his vision as him and the droid trying to make their way across the room while all the teenagers are talking. And then all of us adults are sitting back going like, it's not the greatest thing ever. Like, my child is engaged and like focused on a Chewie mission. He's like, this is the community effort here. They're working together. Like, you know, like, and you haven't lived until you've seen 12 6-year-olds try to like help Chewie cross a place without getting attention.
She would love that.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll ship it off and
yeah,
you know, just pack it away.
Like, I can't explain the magic of that moment.
But this is
and it was full of those.
This is the stuff the crazy billionaires should be doing. None of this like trying to ruin the world. I'll buy it off you and I'll put it in my backyard and I'll let people come and do it. Yeah. You know, like that's the crazy billionaire things that our crazy billionaires
just leave Twitter alone. You could have done this.
Buy this and let people do it, and people will love you again. You want people to love you? Do this.
Yeah.
You know,
weren't you all about Mars? Just go to Mars.
I'm just trying to think if there's anything else we haven't touched. Oh, just the Andor release schedule. What's the deal? Is this the hitting hard? We want to hit hard. We want to rate hard. We want buzz for a month, and we want to get out.
I don't try to guess business stuff. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, wouldn't you want to extend it? It doesn't matter. As a viewer, I'm glad because I'm going to be able to see it all.
Yep.
Also, I might be busy in Japan. I might not be able to podcast about it all at once. But
well, I think they'll screen it. I think they'll screen it that Saturday night. The Andor panel's on Saturday. I think they'll. So as long as we can get into any one of those 3 rooms, we should be able to get a chance to see it, hopefully, or at least get Catherine in. That's probably priority 1. I could probably wait 2 days. I don't know if she could. So
everybody hold.
Yeah, just get in there.
Yeah, everybody just fastball special Catherine into the thing, and we'll be good.
Hide her under somebody else's coat or something, just in case. But.
Catherine, take my lightsaber.
Yeah.
I give you all the strength and powers of the Jedi. I don't love it. I like having the time to spend with that and think about it and feel about it and all that stuff. Well. Yeah, but my wife is probably going to love it because she loves like, boom, we binge, I'm done.
Yep.
Yeah.
She'll do a few episodes a night.
You know, like, yeah. Either way, I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch it. I'm going to spend time with it as soon as I have time. But I mean, I'm happy that it's going to be available to me. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm not going to be able to watch it all at once. Okay, fine.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, it'll be a experience to watch, you know, because they're dividing it up into years and stuff. So you will get that story. There is, you know, a lot of advantages. You know, obviously the bummer is it's not 12 weeks and you get to savor it. And as far as us, we sort of record our episodes about it. We'll do the episode the day after, or we will come out a bit later, but you know, whatever, it doesn't really matter. We're not going to go, all right, everybody's going to start recording at 11 p.m. and you know,
the thing I always compare it to is like Stranger Things. Like I really like Stranger Things. I watched that. I can't or Cobra Kai. I don't think I can tell you my favorite episode of Cobra Kai because they drop whole seasons at once, and I'm like, well, season 2 was pretty good. Like, I can't remember a single episode, like one that really, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I can probably tell you my favorite episode of Rebels or Acolyte or Andor or, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, because I have it in my mind in those pieces, like fully digested each individually. Like, I might not be able to do that with season 2.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming they'll still be individual episodes. Like, it's not going to be 4.
Right.
You'll still
even like, yeah. When I watch them all at once.
Yeah, no, of course. You can still skip the intro, skip the credits.
Blend all together in my head, you know?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, like you said, talking businesses, but I think they just want to make a hard splash, and have it people talking and get in there and keep the hype up. I think they're conscious of going, if we get to episode 9, are people going to start dropping off?
I wonder, does that mean that something else is coming that we don't know about?
Well, I hope because
why
would you give yourself less stuff on you?
Exactly.
Especially on a subscription thing where it's like, what are you getting us to hang around for?
Like, are you trying to get this all done so something can come out May 4th or what? Like, You know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing I can think
Will it
of.
be done by May 4th? I didn't even look. Probably.
I don't know, but if it's April, no, it won't. It'll just be started because it runs through 4 weeks in April, so it'll be done May 20th, whatever.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
You know? But I mean, like, what? Okay, does something come in June then? Like, why are we rushing this?
Yeah.
Bad Batch went 1-1-1-1-1. Like, why am I here?
Yeah, what are we savoring for? I don't understand. I'm not savoring for. I don't understand. But yeah,
right.
We'll get it. All signs report, to being awesome again, which is what we want. And
exactly.
I'll take it. But yeah, I mean, animation. I know animation's your jam. Any predictions on what the next show is going to be?
I have no clue. I don't even know where
you go.
Like the Bad Batch was the last thing, and I know people are like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to see Omega running around doing pilot stuff? Like, okay, that would be cool, but we already had like Star Wars. Like, I feel like in animation we've explored most of the major areas.
We filled those gaps. Yeah, whether you go, I mean, I think the what am I going to say here? The Last Jedi to Rise of Skywalker gap is interesting because they basically, they finished with nothing, and then by the time the Rise of Skywalker, they're fully functional operation all over again.
Yeah.
And I think they missed the trick with Resistance. I think Resistance, had it gone on, would have been a really good. You could have run that. I mean, it's sort of you kind of get the Hosian Prime stuff in the end of Resistance. You could have run the parallel Last Jedi. They could have got the messages, not got there in time. Even ended Resistance getting to Exegol and all. Could have run all that story in there. But I mean, maybe there's a story there. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, and I feel like even with the stuff we got with Resistance, which is like our only sequel trilogy animation, like, it's still been the longest one since we revisited it. Like, since Resistance has ended, we already went back to Clone Wars. We already went back to Bad Batch. I guess we haven't went back to Rebels. So I guess like the original trilogy. But I feel like we've gone to the original trilogy and all kinds of other things.
Yeah, for sure. Like I think it's a good, like, could use,
Andor explores that same time period.
You could use what's her name? Lieutenant Connix, who's Carrie's daughter's character. You could use her, she would be happy to probably do something with her own character. You could build the story around her, how she gets the Resistance back up and going. She was one of the few people left that's not a Ray, Poe, somebody who's probably an actor will be happy to do it. Build it around you, get her to voice it. I don't know. These are all ideas. Maybe we'll have that animation panel. They'll drop something. They'll drop some fire.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll come back from Mount Fuji just to see. You'll be like,
there you go. Yeah, dude. Want to be on Mount Fuji? Like, maybe they just dropped a trailer. Maybe.
You're like, well, I've got my phone at least. Let's just put it. It'll be on your phone. You'll be able to. We'll look at Mount Fuji and then have your phone up. And then just watch the panel while you're looking at Mount Fuji, like out of the corner of your eye, like that.
It's going to be amazing.
Oh, it's going to be so good, man! I'm so glad
baby.
I'm so glad you're coming. Like, it's a bummer you're not there longer, but we'll make the time. We'll try to get down to the panel at least. We'll give you guys some prezzies. We can just have a cold Asahi or whatever's going, or a bowl of noodles, or something. It'll just be cool. And then
I'm all for that.
Day after, when we know when the next one is, we just start planning all over again. We go, all right, it's going to be in Reykjavik, or it's going to be in Buenos Aires, or it's going to be
it's going to be on the beach where they filmed Krennic, not Krennic, the other guy, Urso, the Mr. Urso's house.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there you go.
I have been to Iceland.
Iceland.
I don't know how Celebration Iceland would go. It's not a very big town. They don't love tourists there either, but we'll see.
Fair enough.
You've got so many things. Like, plug some stuff. Tell some people about where they can see all your wonderful things in your families.
Mostly, we do the Rogue Rebels podcast. It's the family podcast. Mostly, it's me and Lizzie. And then, but we cover everything, dude, because we do all the shows, all the movies, all that stuff. But we also do like I tend to do the books and the comics and all that kind of stuff that maybe fall by the wayside. But also, like, that's, my family doesn't quite do all that deep. So it'll be like me and King Tom, or it'll be me and Rick V. Like, I got my regulars that I'm like, hey,
boys up.
Hey, did you read that High Republic miniseries? Come on, let's talk about this. But I truly get into all those sorts of things. And not only that, if you listen on Spotify, we have playlists. So if you're like, oh, dude, I just love the High Republic, there's a High Republic playlist, a Rogue Rebels High Republic playlist on Spotify. There's a
I've never thought
Rebels
of that.
playlist.
That's a good idea, actually. I should do that.
Yeah, there's a movies playlist. if you just like comics playlist, if you just, all the Andor episodes are in a playlist, all the Bad Batch episodes are in a playlist, Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian, we got so many playlists.
I'm just playing an amateur game over here compared to you guys.
I'm going to hit you with some playlists, big dog.
Man. Well, I've got to do my own.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Anything else?
We're going to start this week. In fact, tomorrow, I think, is going to drop our first Rebels rewatch episode. Because we started the podcast after Rebels. Like, we had been other podcasting so much stuff that we were like, we should probably just do one as a family. So with Pod of Rebellion and all that starting, like, we're all in a Rebels mood. It's never been a better time to rewatch Rebels. So we're starting to rewatch Rebels.
One for each episode?
We're playing it by ear.
Yeah. You're like, we might just breeze over a couple of things.
We might, but sometimes we get in the mood for like 2 or 3.
Yeah, maybe we'll give 3 episodes to 3 pods to 1 episode. You don't know. It's all.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, it's gonna be good to see you soon. Good to see the kids. Hopefully, we'll get a word out of them, and they're not end up in Tokyo jail or anything like that. They're just out there living life. But
hey, they got to learn somehow.
Thanks, man. It was crazy that you hadn't been on. I'm sure you probably get a mic shoved in your face if there's time at Celebration for the blogs and stuff. But we'll see how we go. I know you'll be a man with not much time with a lot to do. But I'll if you do run past my children, I'll just be like, that's a guy who's got the best lightsaber moves going around, man. Like, you gotta.
I try, man. You can check it out on Lightsaber Academy.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. I've been showing. I'm going to show the kids. I'm going to my youngest will be down.
There you go. You got younglings. We got a whole season out and a whole other one on the way. I didn't even know when they were dropping it. I was just like, oh, it came out. Like, I think we filmed it like a while back. Like, I think it was before Ahsoka came out.
Oh right.
Well, so I'm like, oh, cool. They actually did
still got all your hair and everything. It's not like all of a sudden you're like, damn, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
That was
a while back. Out of the shadows.
That's right. Thanks everybody for listening. As always, we'll be hopefully at least one more episode before Celebration, depending on stuff. And I'm trying to get that locked in at the moment. And then we're going to try and do the blog pods, and then we'll see you when we see you. But thank you so much, buddy. Been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me, man.
We'll see you soon.